Sam's Club employees see things the rest of us don't. They know which foods move fast, which sit untouched for weeks, and which ones quietly make their way back to customer service for a refund. They've seen produce spoil before it even leaves the cooler. They've watched trays of prepared meals head straight to the trash because no one trusts them past a certain date. And if you think bulk buying always means saving money, their stories will make you think twice. Here's the reality. Some of the most popular items at Sam's Club aren't bargains at all. They're overpriced, inconsistent, or flat-out disappointing once you get them home. Employees know it because they deal with the returns, the recalls, and the complaints every single day. This isn't about trashing Sam's Club. Plenty of their products are worth it. But today we're pulling back the curtain on the foods insiders say they avoid themselves. We've gathered 10 of the worst offenders, plus a handful of bonus items. And once you hear the reasons, you might start rethinking what you toss in your cart. So if you've ever loaded up on a giant tray of berries, a bulk box of bakery cookies, or a famous rotisserie chicken thinking you scored a deal, stick around. Because according to employees, those deals might be some of the biggest money wasters in the store. Number 10. Baby carrots and the produce that rots fast. The produce section looks fresh when you walk in, but employees know it doesn't always stay that way. One shopper on Reddit said they opened a bag of Sam's Club baby carrots only to find some of them had literally liquefied. Their words, "Never in my life have I seen a carrot that's turned into goo." Now, it's not just carrots. Members talk about strawberries molding in a matter of days, lettuce that wilts almost immediately, and bread that seems to have a shorter shelf life than what you'd pick up at a regular grocery store. Employees admit they see returns on produce constantly. The problem isn't always quality at the source, it's the size of the packages. Unless you've got a big family or you're meal prepping like crazy, most households can't finish 3 pounds of berries or a giant bag of greens before nature takes over. The bulk savings disappear the moment half your produce ends up in the trash. Unless you've got a plan to freeze or eat it fast, the consensus is this section is a gamble. Quick bonus tip: buy smaller packs elsewhere or split bulk with a friend. Freeze berries on day 1. Tuck a paper towel into greens to absorb moisture. Always check dates and skip pre-cut mixes if you won't eat them in 48 to 72 hours. Number 9. Fresh chicken thighs. Members Mark. For years, Sam's Club carried Tyson brand thighs, and shoppers swore by them. Then came the switch to Members Mark, and that's when the complaints started rolling in. On Reddit, people have called the new thighs so small, about the size of a middle bone on a small chicken wing. Just imagine that. You're expecting hearty, meaty portions, and instead you're staring at pieces that look like scraps. Employees say this is one of the most returned fresh meat items, and it's not just about size. Customers report inconsistent trimming, extra fat, and packages where the thighs vary so much it feels like you're paying for leftovers. Price per pound might look like a deal, but when half the tray feels unusable, you're not actually saving anything. Some members have flat out said they started going back to their local grocery store or butcher for chicken because they'd rather pay a bit more for consistent quality. Employees agree. Unless you're desperate for convenience, they say this one's not worth tossing in your cart. Here's a quick bonus tip that might come in handy. Peek through the wrap for uniform size. Weigh value by usable meat, not sticker price. If you still buy, just grab a whole chicken and break it down for better yield. Number 8. Bakery cakes and cookies. If you've been to Sam's Club for a birthday or office party, you probably know their cakes and cookies used to be a big deal. Giant cookie cakes were a fan favorite until they quietly disappeared. Employees say management cut back on options, forcing customers into smaller preset choices. If you want custom colors or decorations, you're probably not going to get them. Now you're mostly stuck with basic designs, and online ordering has replaced the face-to-face flexibility that used to make the bakery fun. And that's just the front of the counter. Ex-employees have admitted the department runs understaffed, which means quantity often wins over quality. Customers describe the new cakes as boring, and insiders say the bulk cookies can be hit or miss. Some come out soft and chewy, others dry and crumbly. Tip: if you still want Sam's Bakery for an event, order well in advance and keep expectations simple. For anything special, a local bakery will give you better designs and a cleaner backstory. Number 7. Rotisserie chicken. Number 7. Sam's Club's rotisserie chicken. On the surface, it feels like one of the best deals in the store. A whole bird for under $5? Families grab them by the cartload. But employees know the fine print. For starters, that chicken isn't just seasoned. It's injected with a solution that can make up almost 18% of its weight. That's why nutrition labels show sodium levels anywhere from 430 to over 500 milligrams per serving. And let's be honest, nobody eats just a 3-ounce serving. If you're carving off a leg and a thigh, you're getting close to an entire day's worth of salt in one sitting. Then there's the timing. Freshly cooked birds that hit the warmer around lunchtime? Juicy, flavorful, worth the price. But if you're grabbing one in the evening, employees say you're probably getting a chicken that's been sitting for hours, drying out under the heat lamps until it tastes more like cardboard than dinner. Tip: if you're craving Sam's rotisserie, aim for late morning or midday when the freshest batch hits. Otherwise, that bargain bird might end up as a salty disappointment. Number 6. Seafood, especially king crab. On paper, Sam's Club looks like a place where you can score big savings on luxury items like king crab legs. In reality, ex-employees and members say it's one of the most disappointing buys in the store. One customer described their crab purchase as not even close to the size of a real king crab. When they cooked it, the meat turned gray and black, which are classic signs of mishandling or improper freezing. That's not just unappetizing, it's a red flag for quality. Employees say this isn't rare. They've seen seafood sit longer than it should, thaw and refreeze, or simply fail to meet expectations once it hits the plate. Even when the crab looks okay, there's the value problem. You're often paying premium pricing for product that comes out bland or rubbery compared to what you'd get in a local fish market. Bulk packaging tricks people into thinking they're saving, but pound for pound, you might actually spend less and eat better by buying fresh seafood in smaller quantities. Tip: if seafood's on the menu, Sam's isn't the place to gamble. For king crab especially, skip the bulk bin and head to a local fishmonger where freshness isn't up for debate. And yes, you'll probably spend a bit more. Number 5. Pre-made meals. Sam's Club loves to market these trays as family-friendly shortcuts. Enchiladas, lasagna, chicken Alfredo. Just pop them in the oven and dinner's done. But employees and members say what you're really getting is overpriced sodium bombs with hit or miss quality. In early 2025, Sam's had to recall its Members Mark hatch chili chicken enchiladas after the FDA flagged possible listeria contamination. That shook a lot of members who had already bought them. And even when there isn't a recall, nutrition labels tell their own story. Employees point out meals with 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of sodium per serving. That's per serving, not per tray. And the serving sizes printed on the box? Way smaller than what most people actually eat. A feeds 8 lasagna realistically feeds 4 or 5, which means you're downing double the salt and preservatives in one sitting. Flavor-wise, they're often described as bland or oddly heavy. Great if you want convenience, not so great if you want to feel good after dinner. Tip: the general consensus is you're better off cooking the same dish at home. It'll be fresher, taste better, and you won't need a gallon of water to wash down the salt. Number 4. Tuna cans in water. Specifically the Members Mark solid white albacore in water. Sounds clean, simple, healthy. But here's the catch. Read the fine print and you'll find it's not just water. It's packed in vegetable broth, and that broth contains soy. Members have called this out again and again. Some even say they bought cases before realizing the in-water label was misleading. For most shoppers, maybe it's just annoying. But for anyone with a soy allergy, that's not a small detail. Employees say they've seen returns because people felt tricked, thinking they were getting plain tuna and nothing else. And then there's the taste. That broth changes the flavor, making it less like clean, mild albacore and more like a mushy filler protein. The bulk price seems like a deal, but if you don't like the taste, or worse, if you can't eat soy, you just wasted money on a pack of cans that'll sit untouched in your pantry. Tip: if you want pure tuna, stick to smaller brands or look for labels that say in water only. Sometimes paying a little extra upfront saves you from tossing out an entire case. Number 3. Bulk produce. Berries, greens. Walk into Sam's Club and those giant trays of strawberries or family-sized tubs of spinach look like the ultimate bargain. 3 pounds of berries for the price of 2? Sounds like a win. But employees say this is one of the most common traps. The problem isn't that the produce is bad, it's that most households can't eat through it fast enough. Members complain about half a container of strawberries molding in just a few days. Bags of salad greens turn slimy before the week is out. Even bread from the bakery can go stale faster than expected. Employees admit they see these items come back as returns all the time. Sometimes these products are already close to disintegrating in the store. They are barely hanging on. And the psychology is simple. You see the bulk price and assume you're saving. But if 40% of your purchase ends up in the trash, you didn't save a dime. You actually paid more per edible piece than if you'd grabbed a smaller pack at a regular grocery store. Tip: unless you've got a big family or a solid freezer ready to go, treat Sam's produce as a waste trap. Buy smaller quantities and save yourself from tossing money in the compost bin. Also, check out what you're buying thoroughly. Don't assume. Number 2. Pet food. Members Mark dog food. For many Sam's Club shoppers, tossing a giant bag of Members Mark kibble or treats into the cart feels like the practical move. Feed your dog for weeks at a fraction of the price, right? But employees and longtime members point to a troubling history here. Members Mark dog food has faced multiple recalls in recent years. One involved beef stick treats contaminated with metal fragments. Another flagged potential salmonella contamination in different recipes. And while recalls happen in the pet food industry, employees say they're not quick to forget when it happens more than once. Beyond recalls, the quality itself gets knocked. Owners on pet forums talk about inconsistent textures, dogs refusing to eat it, and stomach issues after switching from national brands. When it comes to pets, most people aren't willing to gamble on maybe it's fine this time. Employees often avoid buying it themselves, choosing known brands with stronger safety records instead. Tip: if you're shopping for your pets at Sam's, stick to national labels you already trust. That extra $10 could save you a vet visit, and your dog will thank you. Number 1. Bakery and deli prepared foods. We're talking family-sized pastas, enchiladas, chicken Alfredo, and meatloaf dinners. They look like a lifesaver on a busy weeknight. But ex-employees say these are some of the worst buys in the club. The first issue is sodium. Check the label on something like Sam's Club Chicken Alfredo and you'll see over 1,000 milligrams of sodium in just one serving. That's before you realize the tray's 4 servings is more like 2 in real life. You're blowing through a full day's salt limit in one meal. Then there's the filler problem. To keep these meals shelf-stable, Sam's loads them with preservatives and stabilizers. The taste is often heavy, oddly salty, and not worth the premium price once you realize you could have cooked the same dish at home with fresher ingredients for less. Employees say they rarely buy these themselves, even with the discount. Tip: if convenience is what you need, grab smaller, fresh options at your local grocery store. You'll save yourself from the salt overload and the regret. So what's the bigger takeaway here? Sam's Club can feel like a treasure hunt, but employees know it's not all wins. Bulk doesn't always equal value. Sometimes it means gooey carrots, tiny chicken thighs, sodium-packed dinners, or a crab leg that looks nothing like the picture on the box. And that's why insiders say they skip these foods altogether. They've seen the returns. They've read the labels. They know which deals are real and which ones are just clever packaging. This isn't about walking out on Sam's Club. It's about walking in smarter. Buy what makes sense for your household. Skip what wastes your money, your fridge space, and your health. Now, we want to hear from you. What's the worst Sam's Club food you've ever brought home? Drop it in the comments, because chances are you're not the only one. And if you've made it this far, you're already shopping smarter than most.